Check 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Yes, yes, yes. What's going on, people? What's happening? Rebel Advocates back. Bit late, but better late than never, innit? Got caught up in the bad weather. You know, it was it was freezing out there. Do you know what I mean? We nearly died. We nearly died out there. Anyway, so who's there? Is anyone there today?
Yo, Zah.
Who's that? Johnny.
Johnny. You man good?
Yeah, man. Bless. You?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Cold, but other than that, I'm calm still.
And it warm up. And didn't it warm up a little bit today? Today, no.
For now, man. Cool.
Same old. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Cool.
Who else is there anyway?
Yeah, what's happening, guys?
Who's that? Is that Artie?
Yeah, back in the place. How you man doing? You good, yeah?
Where's that Artie? Where you been, man?
Been here, man. Been here, tucking up, keeping warm, like you said, mate.
Yeah.
Keeping warm, but all good, man. How you man been, all right?
Can't complain. I'm good.
It's good, man. It's good. No point complaining, my man. Nobody listens anyway, so. But yeah, no, all good, man. Like you said, keeping warm. Been a chilly weekend, innit, chaps?
Freezing.
Definitely, man. Definitely. But yeah, all good, guys, man.
Sorry.
That's all right.
So, who wants to start? Or shall I?
Go on.
Yeah, go on, jump in then, man, if you want to kick it off.
What, shall I jump in there? Shall I jump in?
Jump right in, mate.
Am I first, yeah?
If you want, mate, come on.
All right. I'm going to talk about hip-hop. What's it influences? Good, bad? Now, you know, we all listen to hip-hop. Most people listen to hip-hop. Most young people, young men as well, listen to hip-hop. And try to look for some kind of, fill some kind of void which isn't there, you know, potentially. But hip-hop is, I don't know. It changes. It varies, you know. I don't feel the same how I felt years ago listening to hip-hop. I feel a bit different about it now, you know, and listen to different type of hip-hop. But what I was going to say is just answer some questions about it, as I always do. Ask you guys some questions about it, and answer myself first, and then just run you guys on the same question. So we're just gonna kick in, yeah. The evolution of rap music over the years. How would you describe the evolution of rap music over the years? Me myself, I'd say it's gone down a little bit personally. As you would say, as somebody who listened to rap for a long time and all different types, would say it isn't the same as it was back in the days. You had much more options of what kind of rap music you had. Now you just got a whole load of rubbish. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I've kind of, I feel along the same sort of lines in terms of, it's like you said, it's kind of an evolution, but arguably maybe sort of it's gone backwards, you know what I mean? It's devolved because when I started listening to it, well, that was what, early 90s, late 80s at best, sort of with you guys, you would get a much more sort of varied brand, you know what I mean, on your sort of your major play, wouldn't you? You get your 2 hours or 2.5 hours of certain people on the station, and you would hear many different types of hip hop, you know what I mean? You know what I mean, whether it'll be gangster, conscious, you know, there'll be so many different types. And throughout time, it does feel to be a very samey sound now. You know what I mean? The sort of mainstream hip hop now, or kind of whatever you would call, is classed as hip hop. Is very much of that said same sound. And there's no real diversity within the music at all. You know what I mean? And you have to be a certain way, look a certain way, and rap in a certain way if you want to get, I don't know, we call a mainstream label, or, you know, I mean, a mainstream record deal. I suppose one major positive is that we do have YouTube now, and you can see sort of all of the classic music, and there is some still decent underground stuff out there, you know what I mean? But again, not made by too many, I'd say, modern artists, you know. But yeah, I'm along those lines, teacher. I think I think he's took quite a few steps backwards, you know what I mean?
What do you say, Johnny?
I reckon it's mostly trash nowadays, man. It's like I don't relate with any of them now. Now it's just back then. It's like you had to have a certain thing about you to rap, and people want to listen to you. And like what Artie was saying, like the radio play, to get on radio, you had to have that certain aura about you and be able to rap for people to want to listen to you. So for the A&Rs and the radios and all that to want to play you, they'll be taking a risk. So they'll have to put like risk in you and be like, all right, cool, I'm going to put you on in it. But now, because they got all these outlets like these YouTubes and Apple, and it's like anyone can just rap now. And it's like, it's just I don't relate with this rap these days, man. I think I'd say the last kind of rap that I would listen to and took serious was, say, like your 50 Cents and your D Blocks and Dipset. They were like that's the last rap where I'd think, all right, I could kind of get me. Since then, it's like, I think it's just more, they're in it. Obviously, they were in it for the money back then, but it was more the way they were living, and they're showing you how they're rapping and certain experiences they're going through now. It's like they're just more in it for the jewelry and the cars and the women and all that. And back then, it's like it was like a way of life for rappers back when we were listening to rap, in it. It's like it's hard to explain still, but it was just more. Yeah, it was more to do with the way they were living. Now it's just bullshit now, man. It's just like you said, it's gone downhill, and it's just, yeah, they're just in it more for the fame and the jewelry and the stuff like that. And it's sad to see still, because I'm not saying there's not talent, but they're not like putting their talent in the right way into the music. It's bullshit. Because I'm not gonna say all of them are crap, but it's like the way the scene is, it's just anyone's just rapping now, and they're just rapping bullshit, man.
No, fair enough. Valid point you got there, old chap. Still, I mean, look, as bad as the music is today, which we think it is, but you know, I remember when we used to listen to NWA back in the days, and I remember the elders were looking at us and saying, "That's turn that rubbish off." So maybe it's an older head type thing, because saying that still, they've moved with the times still, and as shit as it is, I think it's not that good. But you know, to the young people, yeah, it's still quite good, right? And it's transcended, right? And it's still rap music, but it's like today's version of rap music, whether it's garbage or not. You know, you can go into that that drill stuff as well, innit? Garbage, right? Garbage as well. Yeah. Shit message and all that stuff. But
yeah,
it's still good. It's still like moving with the times. Anyway, let's Yeah. Okay, yeah. From your perspective, how has rap music transcended its musical boundaries to become a cultural force? And it is a force. Everybody listens to rap, or all kind of level of people listen to rap, and you know, it's always a feature in some kind of different music genres. R&B. Remember that the times of the R&B when they would fling a rap in at the end, always in the 90s
Yeah.
style, which was a good kind of thing. And you get some rock music with a bit of rap in it in that time as well. Um, what in your perspective, guys? What do you think? Has it become a cultural force? How do you think it's become, Johnny? It's a force. Rap music is a force. How do you think it got there? As shit as it is today, it's still kind of big. It's more money, much more money. And look, actually,
Mm.
think about it. Actually, look, I remember back in them days, it was the fat gold chain. Yeah, it was still the fat gold chain. It was always, what's it called? Some kind of clothes. What was that guy? I forgot that guy where Mike Tyson had the fight outside. Dapper
Mitch
Dan.
Green.
Yeah, Mitch Green, Dapper Dan. The Dapper Dan. Remember the Dapper Dan clothes? What was it? It was like
Yeah.
fake what everyone's wearing now. I can't remember the suitcase. They got the suitcase with it. Anyway, it was always kind of that kind of thing. You had to be flashy, right? I mean, it was flashy, but was it the same as it is now? The level of flashiness then, because it was always flashy, right? Isn't it? You always had to be the flyest. You wear the gold chain. I know it ain't. It's all the different kind of gold chains and all the diamonds and all that rubbish, but shit, it's the same kind of thing, right? Don't you think? What do you think, guys?
I'd say yeah, but I believe obviously because it seems like now there's more money in the in the rap game, and the labels are giving out bigger advances and all that. So they are spending their money on like bigger things like cars and chains, like bigger stuff like that. But to answer your question, I'd say because think about this now.
What do you think about the transcending of how it is today? It's still a dominant, it's still dominant, right? And then you got like who's it's not the same as before, but you still got some like Kendrick Lamar's, some good kind of good rappers that are still coming with that old school.
What about J. Cole a little bit?
Old school essence of what it's about. Still, what do you think, Johnny? What do you think about that? If anything,
yeah, like you said, you got your Kendricks and all that. Still, like they're from the old school, and they're still doing it now in the new school. They're still doing it, but I don't know, man, because like I said, I don't really relate to the rappers these days, so it's hard for me to actually answer that, innit? Because I listen to some, but it's just I don't know, man. I'll let Artie answer this still.
I've got another one for you. That's why. No,
Go on.
Artie can answer this one. What about the social commentary and activism? Yeah. Many argue that rap serves as a powerful tool for social commentary. Do you know what examples you got? Any examples that you can explain that where there's social commentary? You should have a few there.
Well, rappers, yeah, you've got obviously going back in it. So one of the first that was kind of you had as a major group was Public Enemy, wasn't it? They were one of the forefathers of that sort of social commentary / black activism. You know what I mean? And just letting people know, being risk takers as well, sort of in that music there. Sort of modern day guys, you got like Immortal Technique. He's been doing it for a long time. You know, he's obviously very underground. who's always got, I mean, everything they do is a social commentary, you know what I mean? They don't ever branch away from that, really. You got English guys like Akala, that puts that social commentary, sort of that narrative in there, and the sort of more conscious message that sort of comes through. Again, that's nowadays. You wouldn't hear him too much in the mainstream for his rapping, you know what I mean? But those guys like Public Enemy were arguably there, and they were in the mainstream, weren't they? And they did have hit records, but it's weird, they had hit records that were conscious. You couldn't imagine that in today's time, could you? Like a hit record, like whatever, Fight the Power, you know? I mean, theme tunes to, you know, I mean, soundtracks to a sort of major films then, with Spike Lee and that. And that's the thing, those guys were, like you said, they were doing it then, and they still had, and they were given a platform, you know what I mean, on major radio. You know, I mean, you had PE on major radio. But nowadays, if there were groups coming through like that, I think you'd be very lucky to hear them on major play anyway. So those were the main guys when it come through. And I suppose I wouldn't say NWA is a social commentary, but some parts of what they were saying, you know, I mean, could have acted as a social commentary in terms of, you know, I mean, there's stuff with the police and
yourself,
stuff.
that song.
Exactly, kind of stuff like that. Yeah. So,
but then hold on,
in a certain way, they were.
Sorry. When it a commentary, it was a commentary of what they were seeing, right? They were commenting on what was in their areas where they grew up. They were just talking about, yeah, no?
Yeah, no, totally agree with you. Yeah, exactly. And that was their expression, you know, quite literally. And there's always been a little bit of argument, weren't there, in terms of social commentary, or do people rap about how they live? You know what I mean? Some don't, but they're still good at what they do. But those were the people that stood out to me, especially in those times, and it coming through. And you even had way back when, innit, you had sort of, you know what I mean, the message that was even before that, you know what I mean, that come through. That was one of the groundbreaking tunes that did.
You're talking about Grandmaster Flash.
Yeah, that had the social commentary through that as well. And that's even
100%,
earlier than that.
100%, that's true.
That was a good, I mean, when people hear that tune, I think so many people know that song, but if you actually listen to the lyrics, you know what I mean, there was a commentary in that. And the other tune, what was it, White Lines, that was done again. Did he do that again? I think Grandmaster Flash, or I can't remember if he'd done that again, but again, the social commentary going on from then. But I think that's the disappointing thing, teacher, now, is you don't hear any of that now, you know what I mean, coming through on the mainstream, whereas we grew up and we had that, you know what I mean, available to us as well. You would see those sort of artists. So yeah, those were the key ones. I don't know if you can think of any more that really stood out as sort of social commentators for hip hop. But yeah, I mean, like I said, there are those today, but they're underground and you won't hear of them, because going back to your kind of first point a little bit, it doesn't suit their narrative of the stuff they want to promote, you know what I mean? So sadly, you won't hear too many social commentators sort of rapping nowadays, or possibly in the foreseeable future. You hope so, you know what I mean? It'll be good, but I don't think so, man.
What about, like, because I know some people who don't really listen to rap music would always turn around and say, oh, it's too much swearing and cussing in it. Do you know what I mean? It's too many swearing. Is that... I mean, shit, that's just... what would you say to that? What would you say to that, Johnny?
The swearing, and to me, you're just expressing yourself, really. Like, or they're expressing themselves, like... Because I've listened to when you can go on certain things and you can listen to clean versions of things, innit? And it's like, it's not the same without the curse words and the bad word and them thing there. So I get where they're coming from, where they're saying that they don't listen to it because of that. But to me, it's not the same. It's just diluted without hearing all of that swearing and all that, man. it's just how you're feeling at the time, innit? It's just coming out through your through your feeling and all that. So yeah.
Totally. Because I mean, look, when you think of rap music, what comes to your mind? Yeah, both of you. Anyway, what comes to your mind when you think of? Because you think of something hard, tough. Yeah, you think outspoken. Yeah. What else? What comes to your mind when you think of rap music? Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
I hear what you're saying.
Both of you. What comes to your mind when you think of rap music? You think of like the tough, it's a tough person, right? Maybe they've been through some experiences in life, and they've come through this. This is their story, no?
Yeah, when I think of rap, I think they've obviously lived a hard life. They've grew up on the streets. They've done certain things. They've sold certain things. They've done whatnot and certain things like that, innit? So yeah, that's how when I picture rap music.
Totally right, but most of them are chatting rubbish, though, aren't they?
I think
most of them are
the
chatting rubbish.
majority, especially nowadays.
And they're lying. I mean, they're not really, they said they done this, they done that. It's all a lie, no? It's all a lie. What you got to say about that? Sorry, old chap. Go on, unless what?
Unless they want to send themselves to prison and incriminate themselves. it is rubbish still, but they say it's the entertainment industry, innit? So they're doing something to sell to people what they think people want to hear, innit?
Fair enough. Good. I like that. What do you say about that, Artie? What do you say about these people going on there talking about stuff they don't do just for the sales? What would you say about that, Artie? Oh, okay. Nothing. I guess you say nothing about that, Artie. Okay, no worries. No worries. What I would say. Go on.
Sorry about that.
No. Go on, Johnny. What are you saying?
But like I said, it's like I was watching something the other day, and someone was basically saying, "Do you really believe like half the stuff that we rap about?" But this was someone that I thought, oh, maybe they're in the shit, in it. But it's like they were like, no, like we like basically I get told to rap about things that will draw the audience in. So we know people that live a life of selling drugs and go in prison and stuff. So I'm rapping to basically draw you in, to make you want to buy my singles and listen to me and come to my concerts and stuff like that. So it's like what you said. But basically, what they're rapping about is bullshit. Like, it's not so much bullshit. It's just things that they're not doing, or it might be past experiences, stuff that they've done in the past.
Who said that? The Fat Man.
Who's the Fat Man?
All right, no worries. We'll just leave it there. I thought you saw. I saw the Fat Man. I'm not going to say his name, but I saw the Fat Man was on there talking about something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, I thought you might have saw that same thing. All right. Yeah, we were saying, what's the thing? What do you think of people saying these guys rapping about some bullshit life? What do you think? Does it have any impact, do you think, on the listener? Johnny, I mean, Artie.
I think, I mean, some people who listen to the hip hop are clearly like they're more receptive in terms of like they'll believe everything they're hearing, which we clearly know is not the truth. I know I listen to a lot of artists in the past or who have rapped about a certain way of life or done certain things, and arguably they weren't doing it, but I still like them because I liked it sounds weird, but how they rapped and how they come across with their beats and stuff. But yeah, I think, it's silly, but like kind of a little bit what Johnny was saying, if it's going to sell records, then you know, what I mean, they'll just go it again. That will come down to is it their personal judgment? Do they want to rap like that, or do they feel by sort of you know, what I mean, saying that, and they feel that, you know, what I mean, they'll sell more records like that. If you know, what I mean, if they rap about kind of that thing and possibly don't rap about that side of it, and maybe rap about something they really do in their own life. I don't know, whatever, you know what I mean? But yeah, arguably people just do it, I think, just to tell a story. But in a way, it's not that bad if it's good storytelling, you know what I mean? And they can rap and rhyme decently. It's when you're crap at it's when you're a rubbish rapper, and then, you know what I mean? You know, I mean, your lyrics are whack as well. Everything's rubbish. So no, I mean, look, it is what it is. I think some, you know, I mean, I think the majority of them probably do rap about stuff they don't do in it, and you know, it's their personal thing. But it's not great. You would like to think that people wouldn't go on there and sort of manifest a lifestyle that they've never lived or probably never will live. But like Johnny said, if it sells records, isn't it? So
yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I think it influences. I think it influences a lot of people. You know, instead of, you know, if you know, you can see if somebody's being a storyteller and they're telling stories, then they could do that anyway, right? They don't need to play hard or anything like that. You know, they just be themselves, right? Being a storyteller, you don't need to wear no jewelry, yeah. You know, you don't need to do none of that stuff, and you'll take the message a lot. You'll take the message, I think, more so than if somebody's wearing all the jewelry and flashing and talking about this lifestyle, kind of condoning that lifestyle, will make you think, all right then, yeah, maybe I can do that as well, or maybe I'm on the right path already, or you understand? And these guys are just reinforcing what they do.
Yeah.
Who knows? All right. We're eating into time already, mate. We're gonna just crack on and jump over some of these things. What's your thoughts, guys? What's your thoughts on fusion of rap with other musical genres, and how's that contributed to its versatility? Because it has, you know, it is versatile music. Still to this day, there's all kinds of people doing rap. If you think of all them back in the days, there was just a certain group, and it went wide, didn't it? With all the hippie kind of rap, De La Soul,
yeah,
you know, Del the Funky Homo Sapien. It went for some kind of different rap, and then you had the X Clan, the militant raps.
Yeah.
Cypress Hill, you had your smoking kind of, it had many different raps. It was like rap was like a music that was like music, you know, a new different level of music that catered for everyone. Are we happy with the fusion? With all the other
I mean, I
genres?
like it, man. I like fusion with the hip hop, whether it's, obviously said back in the days we had the, you know, the R&B joints in the 90s. They've rapped over, you know what I mean, there's been rock, you know what I mean, guys over rock, and yeah, it's been all over, isn't it? I don't think it's a problem, you know what I mean? As long as, you know.
Yeah, go on.
No, it's cool.
What about you, Johnny?
Yeah, I'd agree with that as well, man. I'd agree with that.
All right. What's it say? I'm going some of the comments now. What's it say? Hip hop's not like it was back in the days. True. It's more money. Rappers today are showing off a lot more. What do you think, guys?
There is a lot of that, yeah, definitely. There's a lot of sort of portraying in a certain way.
Swearing's not the issues. It's about rapping about killing and stuff.
Well,
beefs.
certain times.
It's their jobs. It's all that That's what that drill stuff is now, isn't it? Talking about all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So what? All right, cool. Let's done that because that's half hour. That's enough, to be honest.
Cool.
Who wants to jump in next?
Yeah, I'll fly in on a quick one, man. I'll fly in.
Okay, you're talking about democracy, yeah?
Democracy, yeah, man. We'll have a quick chat about this. Yeah, so democracy, guys, is something that it's all around us. It's everywhere we go, you know what I mean? And it's been around for a long time, and sort of like it or loathe it, you know, the idea or notion of it, it does kind of affect our sort of everyday kind of living in the country we are now. It started off way back when in Greece, apparently, guys, in 507 BC. In Athens, they call it the birthplace of democracy. It was apparently so, man, 507 BC, guys. By someone, yeah, I know, by someone called Cleisthenes, apparently, Cleisthenes. And in Greek,
Sounds
it was
like a
called...
German, mate.
Yeah, it's spelt like a German as well, to be fair. But yeah, so that was when it first sort of kind of originated. And the word in Greece is demokratia, which basically stands for, the demo means the people and the kratia part is power. So if you put it together, work out to be people's power, apparently. So that's when it sort of originated from. Over here in the UK, we've had a prime minister since 1721. He was our first prime minister, a guy called Robert Walpole. But back in those days, they didn't have proper prime ministers. I mean, that could be argued even up to today. But yeah, he was like a kind of a de facto one. He just kind of put in place. And they had them in there for sort of a good period of time, sort of changing over. Basically, they kind of invented the role of a prime minister as well, because they just fused it together, and then they got given that title then, which is a bit strange. But anyway, sort of in the UK, they had a First Reform Act in 1832, which allowed, back then, only 7% of the population could vote, which is quite minimal, really, isn't it? And most of the people that could vote in those times, yeah, exactly, rich and middle class, kind of working class men couldn't vote at all. So it was basically what it was, even though they'd changed into a form of democracy as of such, but still, there were loads of people were being left out. And that run through, yeah, exactly. And that run through to 1928 was when women could vote. So obviously prior to that, they couldn't vote at all. And they still had to be over the age of 21. And as we're coming back through our time now, you see back in those days, in the early 1900s, you had just the two standard parties. And obviously some people still argue they're the two kind of standard parties now, which is the Labour and the Tory party. Lib Dems come about in 1988. They were formed then. So that's kind of been our major parties. And then obviously, you know what happens. You're allowed to vote. You go to the voting station, vote for whoever, and every 4 or 5 years they have a general election and someone gets voted in. During those times, around 70s and 80s, and up to recent times, we've had a bit of a far-right explosion. You had, back in the days with the National Front, you had the BNP, and then you had the UKIP. So outside of those major three, those were the ones that come through. So that's kind of where it's got to us. And as you guys know, we vote every 4 or 5 years. So what I've got here, I've got some arguments for and against the idea of democracy. I've got my views for it as well, which I'll obviously put in as well. A few questions that I'll pose to you guys about it and how you feel about it, you know, if you vote kind of or whatever, and see where we go from there. So I'll put this one. This is a nice one. I'll put this one to Johnny, man. This is a nice one. So, Johnny, hear this one, mate. This is an argument against democracy. So if you believe or you disbelieve in whatever, politics or the voting system or just having a prime minister, one argument against, some people say, Johnny, is democracy leads to corruption. It's a straight sort of thing there. Do you think that by having this sort of system in place, John, that you're voting somebody in, it can lead to certain levels of corruption?
Yeah, it can, because you know, in the person that you're voting in, obviously you know what they stand for, so you could just be voting them in because you want certain things to happen, and you know, like, them coming in, it will get what you want to happen, you know.
Well, that's a good point.
So,
And then that's good, because that's what these kind of lobbyists do as well. So sometimes you get people in positions of power in companies, and they lobby to politicians, you know what I mean? And they'll say, oh, well, you know what I mean, XYZ will give you votes kind of for that reason. So that's what I'm saying. So then there might be a broader sort of, you know, I mean, what do they call it, a manifesto, when they'll say, okay, it's basically like a food menu, that's what we're going to do, you know what I mean? But in reality, that could lead to corruption because you know, like you said, if you're just voting in X, Y, and Z because they're going to do that, you know, because that's what you know. Because if you're just voting people in like that on that basis of that, then that can happen. So I think that's what they were hinting at here. Teacher, what do you think about that one, mate? Democracy leads to corruption, or can lead to corruption.
Well, yeah, I mean, like you already said it. Like, only 7% of people were voting when it first started. You said, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So already it is already corrupt already, isn't it? Because it's only the people in power who's getting the votes, who getting to get what they want. Still the same today. I think it's all a bunch of bullshit. People always say, if you don't vote, you know, you ain't got a voice, have you? You haven't said nothing then, innit? Yeah, but, you know, there's nobody to vote for. Look, the thing is this. Look, you can even vote for BNP.
Exactly.
You could vote for the BNP. And what does that say? You know, that's like a terrorist group, right?
Yep.
So why is the terrorist group being able to, you know, being up in there? You know, that to me, that don't make no sense. But
apparently, this is quite funny. You might laugh at this, chats. You can put yourself forward to be an MP, but you got to pay 500 quid. You can put yourself forward. Seriously, you pay 500, and then you know, to sort of print up a manifesto and stuff, sort of, you know, to guarantee that, and then you can run. Obviously, look, who said, you know what I mean? Nobody does it anyway, but that would be quite interesting if every Tom, Dick, and Harry just started putting themselves forward and said, you know what, I'm going to pay 500 quid, and then I put myself forward in my local constituency, you know what I mean, and see where that went from there. But no, I mean, I agree with you guys. I mean, there's another one here, chaps, I'll put to you. Again, another argument against it. So constant changes in leadership lead to instability in the country.
Yeah, it could, but then again, it can refresh things and like straighten things out. It works both ways, that one, man, because as you can see how things are going on right now, you keep switching it up all the time. From you've had your Theresa Mays, then you've had your Boris's, then you've had that Liz Truss for a week. And then you've had this guy now. It's like, it's not really, they're just doing the same shit. Like, nothing ain't getting sorted out. But if you changed it to maybe like somebody else, like a Labour or something, then maybe things could change, and maybe we would see certain things start to straighten out. But because they're just keeping it on that side, and they're just giving it to their friend next. It's like a relay, isn't it? They're just passing on the baton all the time, and if you're doing that, it's not going to change, isn't it? Because I don't see anything changing. Things are just getting worse, and it's like, it's not. It's
100%.
It's not getting any better.
You know what I mean? So you could think about that one.
Go on.
No, I was just saying. I mean, it doesn't seem to be getting better, and that's a key point that you made there in terms of. I mean, it's the same party that's been in power for 10 years now, but you could argue when other parties were in power, nothing much was changing. You know what I mean? But like you said, they've had so many different PMs in such a short time that even you'd probably argue now the most hardened of people who liked and did follow politics, you know what I mean, because you want to feel you've got a voice in it, are obviously saying, look, even these people are not being serious now. You know what I mean? They've got this big COVID inquiry now. You know what I mean?
But even with that COVID inquiry, right, say if you even say, all right, Boris was wrong, what is actually going to happen? They're just putting resources into something that we know that's going to happen. They're going to say he was wrong for what he did, or he took long to do certain things, and he's just going to get a slap on the wrist. Like, he's not going to go prison. He's not, like, they're going to apologize even more for the people that was lost within COVID, or when you couldn't see your loved ones. I don't see the point of this inquiry. We already knew these people were corrupt. We've already heard of the stuff that they did and what they didn't do. What is the point in this inquiry? They're just making it look like they're doing something. It's like ticking boxes. But to me, I've watched it a couple times on the news. I've caught it and thought, what is the point of this?
No, I agree.
Like, there's no point of the inquiry. You basically tell us that they've done wrong. Whatever. What's the point of this I don't get it, but you know.
No, I mean that's another crazy thing, isn't it? In terms of that, how about this? I'll give one of you guys an argument for it, and see if you can either one of you guys provide an able defence of democracy. What's this one here? Yeah. So how about this for a statement? Democracy provides an adequate way to deal with differences of opinions and interests. Chaps, anyone jump in on that one? So that's an argument for it, to say it's a good way of dealing with all people with different opinions and interests and backgrounds.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds good, and it does somewhat, but it doesn't really do nothing, really, does it? On the grand scale of things, it doesn't really do nothing. You see, it doesn't matter whether it's red or blue, yeah, Bloods or Crips. It doesn't matter what gang's in charge. The fact is, it's the people behind the gangs, yeah. It's the people supplying the guns and supplying the ammunition. You understand? And it's these people that are keeping the agenda going in. In my view, okay, there should be not. If you're gonna be, they look at youth workers, and they say to youth workers, well, look, you want to do good, right? So you're not in the job for money. You're in the job to do good, right? So these people, they shouldn't get no money to do that job. They should do it for free. If you're really in the because when you talk to some of these people when they first want to be a politician or something, they want to make change, and they got
exactly.
They got that the naivety in them is to say, yeah, I'm gonna make a fucking change, I'm gonna do something, and then 20 years later you see them in there hustling, taking monies on the side. That's the thing is, politics isn't about change. It's about filling your pockets and rubbing shoulders. You understand?
Oh, 100%. I think that's a key point that you made, and that's what I'm trying to come around to. Not get to the end of it, but I've had this debate with many people. The idea and the notion of democracy is excellent. It's excellent. It's what you really want. You want this sort of idea that you can vote some people in who really represent what you stand for, and a lot of other people. You know what I mean? But in reality, I mean, we've seen the areas that we've grown up and we've lived in, they just stay the same. And there's only sort of any new buildings or any new infrastructure made into that area is never for the people that were in there. What was the biggest day? Teach Haygate, wasn't it? Haygate got knocked down, you know what I mean? And obviously the people must have got rehoused, and who knows, they may have got better places than the Haygate. You know what I mean?
They did. Do you remember? I'm not going to say his name, but remember that guy that used to play football with the gold teeth on that team that we used to play for?
Yeah.
That guy, he lived on that estate, and he's now moved into a new place on that estate, and it's
Okay.
increased. It's increased, and listen, if he sells that place, for example, if he sold it, it would have got much. It would get much more than he would have got for the other place that he had on there. So, you know, he's bumped his life up a little bit. If
That's
if
worked
he had
out
the
well. That's good to
potential
hear.
to sell it if he wanted to. But yeah, go on.
No, that's and that's good, because I think that should be happening more. It tends to feel like when they're sort of knocking down huge areas, whether it's in, I don't know, Peckham or Thamesmead, or, you know, huge horrible buildings which should be knocked down, you know what I mean? No sort of concrete jungles, you know what I mean? You want to be brought up in, ideally. But the people should be rehoused in better properties, you know what I mean? But they should make some constraints to keep those people within that area. But in so many of the areas, I don't know, maybe you guys have a different opinion. It seems like some of the local people, they might, whatever, take an offer elsewhere, you know what I mean?
I had a chat with somebody today, right? And they said that you shouldn't be able to buy the council places, yeah?
Okay.
They should facilitate you to buy your own place, another place, and free up that place for other potential council tenants who would need it. What do you think of that?
That does make sense. That does kind of make sense, because doing that now, you keep the circulation going, innit? Because if you've got everyone that's just settled in their property and they're just trying to buy it, then obviously people, they're gonna have to just build more properties to house more, like, to house everyone, basically. So that would be a good solution still. And then you got people that are just settled where they are, in it, and they just want to just be like, all right, cool, I'll just buy it, in it. So
I think with that one, I think it's a tough one. I think you should, in a way, you should be able to buy your own place if you really want to, because I know you get a decent reduction off it, and you can make a tidy profit if you know what I mean, kind of buy a sort of council place and kind of flip that. But if they're going to facilitate somewhere for you to buy, then by all means, but that's if you're happy to go, you know what I mean, wherever they want to go. It shouldn't be an issue of them trying to find you somewhere else. Where if they can find you somewhere around the area where you've been living and you don't really want to come out of, then I think that should be done, you know what I mean? But yeah, I can see why kind of a lot of people buy their council place anyway, because it is a huge reduction.
Totally. And I mean, it's made a lot of people, you know, smart people rich on the lower, on the housing kind of scale, social housing scale. People had an opportunity to potentially make some money, buy a few flats, and fair is fair, you know. But then it's still changing that thing and turning it into like some kind of property tycoon business where some people living in some shitholes where they're not looking after it and they got to pay some big top dollars. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I don't know, but I think that was a good idea what this person said, and you know, at least if you can go, they'll help you go and buy a house somewhere if that's what you want, and you know, maybe they'll give you that discount. Who knows through the hustle, but it's all a mess anyway. The democracy and
totally agree with you, man.
Totally.
I would argue, just to round it all up, that it's a lovely idea. And you made a valid point earlier on where you said it's not the idea, it's the people that are running the idea. If the people were different who were running the idea and had our interests and our beliefs at heart, the world would have been a lot better place, but sadly it's not. But that's my take on it. And I don't know what you guys are, but it sounds pretty similar.
What were you saying? No, we concur, yeah? We concur.
yeah.
Is that a free yeses?
Yeah,
In
free
it,
yeses. A yes from me.
We concur. So seeing as we got 50 minutes on the mark. Yes, yeah? You happy with that, old chap?
I'm very happy, my man.
All right. Let's move on. We're going to move on to Johnny. What are you going to talk about, old chap?
I just wanted to know if you lot heard about this thing that I seen in the news the other day about the 10-year-old girl that got tasered by the police officer.
What? No, I never heard of that. What
10-year-old girl
happened?
that got tasered.
What's all that about?
Basically, it's saying that there was a 10-year-old girl and she was being like violent and abusive towards her mother. So she basically called the police. The police turned up and they seen that the girl, she had some garden shears and she had a hammer in her hands and was threatening to attack her mother at her home in Streatham on the 21st of January 2021. So it was like nearly a couple years ago.
Mm-mm.
The child was angry with her mother for she basically confiscated her mobile phone from her because of safeguarding concerns on online activity. And it said obviously the police turned up on her and they basically knocked the door. The girl opened the door with the shears and the hammer in her hand, threatening to hit her mom with she was going to threatening to hit her mom with the hammer. So the police basically told her to drop whatever she had. They tasered her once, and then they tasered her a second time, and then she fell to the floor. And then they handcuffed and arrested her before taking her to hospital. And she was treated for 3 taser barbs in her skin, which had been removed by paramedics. And basically the officer was found that whatever he done, it was within law, like it wasn't unlawful for what he did, because the mother and they felt their lives were in danger. So what they did, they basically, after a panel, they basically said the officers didn't do nothing wrong. And the mother basically said she claimed her daughter hit her with the hammer before police arrived, but she said she was a safe distance away from her when the officers got there and did not want her to be tasered. So obviously we've all got children, and obviously, you know, children can be little shit sometimes, but I'm thinking, I don't know what my child would have to have had to have done for me to agree with them being tasered at 10 years old. Even though they said the girl was violent and the mum said that she did lick her with the hammer or whatever, but to taser her twice, I reckon that was going too far. But I want to know what you two think, because I know you two got children as well, and what you would think like if your child got tased like at 10 years old or whatever the age may be.
Boy, yeah, I mean, I heard about it myself as well. I mean, you broke it down well there, Johnny. It's difficult, man. I've got a 9-year-old, to be fair, mate. So yeah, I couldn't think of sort of police coming into the house and tasering her and stuff like that, even if it was in a difficult situation, really. Definitely not an ideal situation. I mean, as you guys well know, I'm no fans of the police, you know what I mean, and shouldn't be tasering a child, but depending on how they sort, you know what I mean, twice maybe as well. This is the problem, and it's twice now. Could they have used another means of restraint possibly, or something to calm the situation down, or tried to calm down first, sort of rather than that? You know, did they do that? Did they follow the procedures properly? Because tasing's really dangerous, isn't it? It can cause heart failure and stuff, you know what I mean?
And they said when you're at a certain age, I can't remember, they said if you're under like 16, I think, they said to get tasered, like you said, it could cause heart problems and you to go into cardiac arrest and them things there. So it's like what you're saying. It's like, but there's a video obviously on YouTube, and it's like the way they came in, they're saying they've done a panel and they done whatever they did, and it's said that they did everything right because they felt that the mum and they were in great danger, and they told her to drop whatever she had in her hands, the shears and the hammer, and she wouldn't drop it, so they tasered her. But it's like what you said, couldn't they have tried? Because what I've seen on the video, they didn't, like, you know how they come in, put down, and it's not, couldn't they have like tried to talk her down and be like, yo, just whatever, just put it down, innit? Like, because they didn't say the mom said that she hit her, but when they came to the door, she's not, like, she's just had it in her hands. I've seen the video. She's not swung at them. She's basically stood back when she's opened the door, and she's had them in her hands, and she's not trying to hit them with it or not, and she's just got it in it. So sure. I don't know if it's because the phone call that they got for them to turn up, that's why they dealt with her like that. But to me, a 10-year-old is like, did you really need to do that? And then you look at the other aspect, if she's licking her mother with the hammer and all of that, get me, did she deserve to get to, I don't know, man. It's crazy.
Listen, I mean, see, when you just said you saw some video, yeah? Was it footage of the thing?
Yeah.
So what, did you see the 10-year-old? Was it big 10-year-old? What size were they?
It's not really clear, but they didn't look like they were a big 10. It just looked like an average size 10-year-old. It didn't look like one of them big old buff 10-year-old. It just looked like a average size 10-year-old, innit? So when I'm watching it, and it's like, to me, it was excessive force, innit? But and they weren't, like I said, they stood back from the officers. The officers said, drop it. They were still holding it. And then they just tasered her, innit? Was
it an ethnic person, this?
You can't see it. You can't, because they blurred out like the face and that, and you can't see the complexion of the person.
What about the mum? Did you see the mum?
Nah, the mum wasn't there in the footage, because it's like a quick, like, it's like a 28-second footage, so the mum's not there. But obviously the mum's just giving her a little thing about the daughter hit her with the hammer. That's why she called the police, and she's saying she didn't want her to get tasered. But by then it's too late, innit? But I don't know, man.
Weren't she on drugs?
Yes,
yeah,
it said
I heard
something
she was taking some edibles.
Yes, some cannabis edibles. So the mum was saying she feels she only done that because obviously she was high, in it.
Totally. So she was potentially out of control. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can say that, because what does the person act like? She had shears and a hammer in her hand. Yeah, she wasn't fucking.
Yeah, in her hands.
She wasn't carving no stones, was she? And both of them in their hand. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, what kind of... And where were they? In a council flat? We don't know. We don't know.
It just says a property in Streatham.
Streatham, okay, yeah. So she weren't doing gardening, though, was she? You know what I mean?
No, horticulture.
So, I don't know, mate. I don't know. But, I mean... Put yourself in that position, yeah? You would think, I would think, no, put yourself in a professional position. Are you going to tackle this person with the thing, with the shears, or are you just going to just use what you got to, keep your distance, don't get potentially hurt. You want to go into work tomorrow, you want to go and see your family, you know what I mean? You want to still work. What would you do?
But personally, I would try the talking down tactic first. And if I don't feel that I'm in like grave danger, like she's not, like the moment she looks to approach me on any, because you got to assess the situation of as like how you see it at the time, innit? And as I've seen on the footage, she's not going towards them with it. She stepped back. They've told her to obviously drop whatever she's got. She's still holding it, and then they just tasered her, innit?
All right. So she, I'm just playing devil, yeah. She said,
Go on.
so he said, drop the thingy, and she didn't drop the thing. She already knocked.
And she didn't drop it.
She already knocked her mum on the head with the thing already, yeah. And mummy's looking all right. What's all this? I don't know. Yeah, mummy's all acting all scared because what's going on? I don't know. What about you? What would you do? Same thing.
I think devil's advocate, you make a good point, though, to be fair, in terms of she's already hit her mum already, allegedly anyway, and she's still got the things in hand. And as you said, purely from a sort of professional point of view, and, you know, everybody, you know, they're police, and as much as whatever we feel about them, they have to do a job, you know, I mean, regardless. So it is a very sticky situation because, boy, all it takes is her to blast her mum one more time, or if she did blast her for the first time, we don't know, you know what I mean? And then it's a wrap, you know what I mean? Whereas if the officer can taser and disable, you know what I mean? So I can see that point of view as well. But I'll come back to a point briefly that you spoke about, what was it, a few weeks back, teacher, in terms of a lot of the police, sadly, who come to deal with these situations, they're coming into different situations, like, you know, people under duress, whether it's taking cannabis edibles or just mentally ill, you know what I mean? And they
It's like that football. Sorry, it's like how they came for what's my man, the
Dalian
footballer.
Atkinson.
Yeah, it's like how they came for him. They
don't know how to deal with the situation, so that's the only way they know. Whereas if they had a different approach, kind of looking towards the mental health side of things, maybe it might help. But then, like I said, you can't really play God in sort of a situation like that. So I don't know about have sympathy for the police officer, because like I said, if it was my daughter, I'd feel a lot different, you know what I'm saying? But there's a level of understanding there that they've come into a very kind of difficult situation. I'll have to see the video though, Johnny. I ain't seen it yet, mate.
Yeah, and it says on there, PC Broadhead requested she drop the shears, but as she turned away to walk up the stairs, he fired the taser at her twice in quick succession. So she obviously turned away to walk up the stairs, and he still fired it at her, innit? So.
No, I agree. I think the last point to make on it would be the big one was, why is it taking 2 years to come out now? That was 2 years ago.
Yeah, in January, 2 years.
Yeah, so how come you just really, this is coming through now, you know what I mean? And I noted the officer was cleared of all wrong kind of doing. Which doesn't always mean that they're innocent, but on the flip side, it doesn't always mean they're guilty, so we've got to be honest. But yeah, that's the bigger thing for me, why it takes so long. But sadly, with that, there's no surprises in it. Sort of any sort of internal police investigation taking a prolonged period of time, you know what I mean, for the public to find out.
And it's come down to discipline again, because the mother confiscated her mobile phone. She thinks she could take it into her. She's asked back for the phone. The mom said no, obviously, because she's going on to some online. There's been some issues with her going on to some online sites or whatever, and the mom's not happy about it. So she's took it within herself to take force and basically try and force her mom to give her phone back, innit? So it's what we were talking about a few weeks ago, like these kids are with the discipline thing, like it's like they're feeling comfortable to just brook up their parents now and then thing, and it's just at 10 years old to be doing that, it's crazy. But we only know half the story in it. There's probably more in it that the mom's just trying to make out she's just fully innocent, but you don't know, man. But
that's true.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely say there's something wrong with the parent in there, 100%, because there's no need to call, there's no need to call the police in my eyes. If you're talking about you over there with your daughter, your 9-year-old daughter, and she's acting up, are you really gonna call police?
Hell no, no chance, mate.
You're gonna do whatever you're gonna do. You are the police in your house, innit?
Exactly, I'm the sheriff.
You're gonna do whatever you need to do, whether it's gonna some punishment, you're gonna drop some licks or whatever. You understand?
Yeah.
You're gonna do whatever you're gonna do in your yard and just say, look, listen, yeah. Whatever,
Raising
you know?
up your hands to people. I don't wash. No,
But
yeah,
you've
that's
got
it.
the
You've got to be
parents
the
need-
sheriff.
Go on.
No, I'm saying
You've
you've
got
got
the
to be the
parent-
sheriff there. You know what I mean? You've got to be the chief.
Of course.
Yeah.
And if she really did lick the mother with the hammer, the mum must. But then again, you don't know if the mother could be smaller and frail, and I don't know in it. But she must be able to deal with that. And get me that. Boy.
Listen, I already got pictures in my head, yeah, and that mother can't be. I don't know. Anyway, nobody knows, but in my mind, that mother's a small woman, and in comparison, it's the same size as that child. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
'Cause I just don't see it. I just can't see a little 10-year-old doing that to somebody who they shouldn't be doing it to. Do you know what I mean? Maybe it's a getaway
exactly.
thing. Maybe it's a getaway with thing. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, that's it on that subject. Yeah.
All right, AOB, mate. AOB then, yeah.
AOB. What's been going on?
We had some
Do
good
it.
football matches yesterday.
Yeah, we did, didn't it? It was a decent Sunday, innit? You had quite a few thrillers there, some good goals going on. City dropped points again.
Well, they said that's their third draw in a row, isn't it?
Yeah, dropping some points there. It's good. It's good Premier League this year. It's quite open, isn't it? It's got a couple of good goals. What was it? Arnold, they got a couple for Liverpool, nice ones.
Trent, that Endo dude, he scored a good goal for Liverpool.
And the other guy scored a banger. What's his name? McAllister. That was a screamer.
McAllister, his first goal for Liverpool, isn't it?
Yeah, and United in the mud again.
That's funny.
Always in the mud, United, isn't it? Always in the mud. And yeah, you guys are mighty Arsenal top of the league.
For now,
Yeah.
like I said earlier, for now.
Nearly halfway house coming up. But no, it looks a good race this year, guys, to be fair. You got I think you got three really good teams up there that'll battle for the title this year.
I feel Liverpool's going to win it still.
Arsenal, Liverpool, City. Some cracking games yesterday. It was a bit crap on Saturday, weren't it? There weren't too much going on Saturday, was there? I mean, you guys got your win 2-1.
Boy, on Match of the Day on Saturday, they put Burnley, Sheffield United on first. That's why I knew it was curtains.
Oh yeah, they smashed him in at 5-0.
5-0, yeah. But
Has he gone yet? The
when I
Sheffield
see
United
that,
coach said he's going, isn't it?
nah, they said they're in the process of sacking him. So maybe in the morning
that's
we
nice.
hear that he's gone.
Oh, that's nice, isn't it? In the process, you know. Isn't it? Don't just do it normal. Trying to think. Anything else happening? Was there any Formula One weekend, John? There weren't, was there?
Nah, it finished last week.
Dead now, isn't it? He's
It's
he
done.
ran away with
Done till March now.
it. Yeah. I see how Roddy won the snooker again, John.
It's eighth UK, isn't it?
Was he 47 now?
They said he's the youngest winner and the oldest winner of it now.
Yeah, smashed it, to be fair. I didn't actually see any of it, actually, but yeah. Yeah, mate, well done, Ronald. Well done.
I wanted it to be Trump and Ronnie, but obviously Ding got to the final, innit?
Yeah. So I didn't think. But yeah, Ronnie done it again. So I'm trying to think there was any boxing.
Was there any boxing? Was there any boxing?
No. Last things I saw a couple of weeks ago was the Shakur Stevenson and the Benavides. He beat Demetrius Andrade. He smashed him up in a few rounds. He's trying to get a shot at Canelo.
Okay.
But that was maybe last week or the week before. But I haven't seen much really coming up in it. We're still waiting for this big event coming up.
The 23rd of December, 2 days before Christmas, isn't it?
Yeah, over in Saudi, that's going to be coming up. And as I said before, at least we can see that at a decent time anyway, isn't it?
You got what's his name, Baby Miller, isn't it?
Yeah, the old he'd been done for quite a few pence in his time, innit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, that's a few bits on that, but yeah, nothing much else to in it. You had you had the Euro draw yesterday, didn't you? The draw for Euros.
Oh yes.
I was quite happy with Scotland's draw. I think it's a group we can get out of. We'll see if we can.
Who have you lot got?
Germany, Hungary, and Switzerland. So
It's a nice draw.
Got Germany the first game of the tournament, isn't it?
Oh, the host.
Yeah. First game. England seemed I can't remember. England got a pretty easy group in it. It's like Slovenia.
Then they got what's Mitrovic's team?
Serbia.
Is it Serbia and Denmark, is it?
I don't know. It's not that hard though.
I think it's Denmark, yeah.
It ain't that hard. So yeah, they've done the draws now, and it's not all complete in it because there's still playoff and sort of bits and pieces still to be resolved in it. But yeah, that's kind of it for a little general roundup in it of the sport. I can't think of anything else outstanding. That don't come to mind.
Ah, that's it.
Yeah, got some footy tomorrow, guys, in it, and Wednesday up in the rest of the week.
Huh?
So that's it, boys.
That's it.
Alrighty then. Well, thank you guys. Thank you. And
No problems.
Thank you, mate.
thank you. Big up Becky Lou, always.
Always
Present.
big up Becky.
Big up.
And unknown, big up the
Big up.
unknown.
Oh yes.
Big up.
We'll be here next week? Sunday.
Yeah.
If there's no
Sunday,
problems.
yeah.
There's no problems.
Sunday.
If man don't have to go church or anything, yeah, man, we'll be here. Yeah. So big up everyone, yeah. Blessings, everything. Like and subscribe, and adios, amigos.
Adios. Bye bye.
Bye bye.